No, that female's she's just wandered off to have a bit of a comfort break, and I think she'll probably rejoin the rest of the pride shortly. Just distanced off from the rest of where they were sleeping. Oof. The young male's got a nice little mohawk going on there, bit of bedhead. He's got the beginnings of a very, very nice mane. Oof. Actually, I'm just going to roll forward because there's a slight little bit of a tumble going on just in there. Sorry guys. Okay, just had a question from John in Connecticut asking if these lions are part of a pride. Well, John, I'd... Sorry, 2 seconds, just turn the channel down. Sorry, John, just turning down my game drive channel. In answer to your question, John, these guys are part of a pride. This is probably the majority of this pride, as far as I'm aware. There will be a large dominant male as well, which will be part of this pride. I don't think it's that guy with a slightly dark mohawk that's in amongst all this massive jaws, paws, and claws. I think he'll probably be off somewhere, spending a bit of time with himself. But there's 9 here. That's a nice sized pride. So I think pretty much these guys will be their own pride with the dominant male kind of on the outskirts somewhere. He may well be just kind of taking a bit of time to himself, or maybe just going off and just exploring his territory and just reaffirming some of his boundaries. But yes, John, these guys are a pride in themselves, I believe. I'm just going to reposition slightly again. Okay, question from Julian on Twitter asking how old the male is. I only caught a glimpse of him, but he probably looks to be somewhere between maybe 2.5, maybe 3 years old at a push. He's still obviously not fully grown or fully developed, but he is quite a size already. And I wouldn't actually be surprised if there is another big dominant male within this group, if he was actually going to start to be pushed out by the dominant male within the pride. But at a guesstimation, he's probably about 2.5 to 3 years old. These guys are starting to get active now. Okay, had an interesting question from Elise on Twitter asking if it's unusual to have a male with this group of females. I wouldn't say it was completely unusual, Elise. I mean, he is getting towards the age where he will he'll start to kind of stretch out on his own or be forced out by a dominant male within the group. So he probably hasn't got too much longer to be with this pride if he is going to be tolerated by the dominant male. He's probably quite an older cub of one of the older females, so he's going to be related to these guys more than likely. Well, pretty much sure that he's going to be related to these guys. So in that respect, no, it's not completely unusual that he's with them. But I wouldn't actually give it too much longer before he actually kind of starts to leave this pride, because he's still showing kind of playful tendencies with some of the other members of the pride. As you can see there, some nice action going on with him. But yeah, soon he'll start to get a bit too and a bit too male lion-esque, as it were, and they'll start to kind of usher him out of the pride, and then the dominant male will probably kind of tell him to kind of pack his bags and move on a little bit. I'm just going to reposition a little bit for you so you can get a bit more of a better picture. Now you can see what the female's doing there. She's just having a bit of a scent in the edge. Got a bit of a scent. Oops. How's that? How's that, Jason? Such fantastic eyes on these cats. Ooh, there we go. Just going to come for a little bit of explore, so if we just sit here quietly. Hopefully they'll come right past the front of the vehicle. Pride is getting to be pretty active now. It's one just using the... Ah, sweet. And besides these two to the left of the vehicle, there's one just in the thickets, just using a tree as a bit of a scratching post. Yeah, these guys are getting pretty active, and I think, by judging by the size of the bellies, they're probably just going to move on and just maybe have a bit of a hunt, and if there's anything, to see what happens. I think these guys might head up to the main road, potentially. He's just sampling there to kind of see.
2 million cappuccinos!
Let's show him what a breakfast with whole grain fiber can do.
Ooh. This is nice. just had a very interesting question from Valerie on Twitter, asking if I've ever heard of males which have been extradited from a pride coming back and taking that pride over from their father. I'm going to be honest with you, Valerie. I've not heard of that, no. I mean, obviously, the cats will be kind of related in some way or another. So it probably wouldn't be in their best interests to actually come back to. Sorry, I'm just chuckling at that picture. I wouldn't actually think it'd be worth or to their benefit. I'm just being eyeballed by a female that's just coming past the vehicle. I don't think it would be really much of benefit to the pride itself, to the genetic diversity within the pride, if a young male was extradited and then came back. I mean, it's not within the realms of impossibility, certainly not. But it's not something that I've actually heard of where a male has been kicked out of his family pride and come back and taken it over and mated with the females in that pride. I think it'd be to the detriment of the genetic stock within that pride, just for inbreeding purposes. But quite an interesting question, thank you. I'm just going to turn around while we've got the opportunity, because these cats are moving, so we'll try and stick with them as best as we can. And we'll try not to lose a cameraman on the thorns. This is going to be a bit of a wiggle, sorry guys. They are just moving at about 9 o'clock. Get in there. Let's see if we can get a bit closer in there. 3 lobes in the trucks. That one seems to have a bit of a cold. Just pull past. Right, if you want to get a screenshot, now's your chance. That's fantastic. Look at that. That's cute. Look at him just peeking around that tree trunk. Here comes Mama. Okay, just had a question from Jacqueline on Twitter asking how male lions mark their territory. Well, Jacqueline, they kind of do it in the same respects that your domestic cats will as well. Sorry, just making sure I'm out of the shot. They'll urinate, they'll spray, and they'll also defecate around the boundaries of their territory. Scent marking. This behaviour is fantastic. Look how playful they are. So sorry, yes, just getting distracted there slightly, Jacqueline. They'll demark the territory by scent marking, and also scratching on trees, and also all those sort of aspects, like your domestic cats will as well. But yeah, predominantly they'll use spray and also feces to demark their territory. Just going to roll forward a little bit, see if we can keep up with these guys. Although these two, to be fair, are giving us quite a lot of nice entertainment. So, nice big female through there as well. Do seem to be moving in the general direction that we're pointing, so I'm just going to pull forward a bit and see if we can kind of get them as they come to cross the road. We'll get a nice big clear sighting of them. Just had a very interesting question from Jennifer in New York. Hi Jennifer, how are you doing? Jennifer's wanting to know how likely it would be for the Birmingham boys to take over this pride. To quote Mr. Weiner, it all depends really. It would depend on if the Birmingham boys came into contact with this pride. That would be the biggest variable within that, but also dependent on the actual dominant male for this pride as well. It depends on his strength, and if he had any other big males on his side as well. But I mean, there's going to be five male lines in that coalition of the Birmingham boys. So I mean, they are going to be a pretty big force to reckon with. I mean, if they did come into contact with a pride, and they decided that yeah, we want to take this over, they would be a very, very, very big force to reckon with for any group really. If it was just for one dominant male, then he would be in for a very rough ride indeed. But as for whether they would take over this particular pride, there's a number of variables. But I mean, they may well do. They may well take over this pride if they do come into contact with them, and the dominant male in this pride isn't successful in defending what's his. Now, the cubs, or the smallest cubs that are within this pride, it would be if the Birmingham boys did take over this pride, it would be very interesting to see what would happen with them. When a dominant male within a pride is killed or kicked out of a pride, the new resident male will more than likely kill the cubs, or the youngest cubs from within the pride, just to kind of ensure that it's his genetic line that is going to be continuing. So if the Birmingham boys did come into contact and did take this pride over, it would be quite interesting to see what would happen with the younger members within this group. But yeah, it's an interesting question to ask. It's just it would be a very, very interesting spectacle to watch if this pride did come into into contact with the Birmingham boys. Okay, I'm still on the access road. On the access road, coming back towards control. Okay. Yeah, so I was just keeping control updated as to our location. We're Now there's a nice shot just in front, Jason. We're just probably about maybe between 500 and 600 meters away from our control room. So we haven't actually managed to go that far, but we don't really need to at the moment, because this is just superb. It's a bit of a pride termite mound for this chap. I can almost hear all the viewers shouting Lion King, Lion King. Or Simba. I'm just going to move. There's another vehicle coming, so I'm just going to move out of the way for them. Starting to come out of the thicket, so if we just get a little bit ahead of them, then we should get a nice picture of them. Hello, how are you?
2 million cappuccinos!
Let's show them what a breakfast...
Yeah, we've got youngest members of the Pride just bringing up the rear. All right. Oof. How's that for a family portrait? He's the new member to the Pride, but the rest of the... Oops. Obviously lions aren't as agile when it comes to climbing trees, but this is superb. Sorry, getting back to the question. Yeah, I don't think there really is a definitive answer to how long a Pride will stay together. It's probably more of a question of how long, or how long potentially a dominant male will be in dominance of a Pride, and that can range between maybe 2 to 4 to even 8 years, depending on the size and the power and strength of the particular male lion. But the actual Pride itself will pretty much stay together on a continuous basis, where the cubs will be the new generation, the female cubs will kind of be the more the new generation bringing the pride through. But yeah, I hope that answered your question for you. These two older females on the around it, just keeping an eye on where the youngsters are going. I think they're just kind of having a bit of an exploration to themselves. I hope the rest of the team that left after Big Cat Week, I hope they're all watching and enjoying these images as much as we are. This is just a fantastic sighting. Okay, we've had a question from Jackie in Minnesota asking why lions and buffalo don't get along. The easiest way to answer that question is the lions see the buffalo as food. That's pretty much the short answer to it. So one of the lions' favorite meals is buffalo. So these guys will, if they see a herd of buffalo, they will trail them and they will try and pick out either one that's either a little bit slower, maybe potentially wounded, or even younger members of a buffalo herd. So yeah, the short answer to that question is buffalo are very high on a lion's menu. Now, one of the interesting things about the buffalo, when they are under threat from lions, or one of the members is being singled out, the pride of lions will, sorry, the pride of lions, pardon me, the buffalo will actually come back and defend any members of the herd quite vigorously, if they can, from the pride of lions, and try and get these lions off or away from the buffalo that's being singled out and being targeted by the lions. I hope that answered your question, Jackie. Oof. Could you just reconfirm the name? I couldn't catch if it was Nkuhuma or Nkuhuma. Okay, yeah, so we sat with the Nkuhuma pride, and from the last count there was 9. That's 9 of these lions, 1 for each life. Pretty much an all-female pride. Well, not all-female pride, but there's only one male within this pride at the moment who's got the beginnings of a fairly sizable mane. The rest are fairly immature cubs, with some quite sizable females, which one of them will be kind of like the main breeding female within the group, and will be sisters and aunties within the pride as well. But yeah, there's from the last count there was 9, and there's probably a dominant male padding around somewhere, just doing his own thing and just having a bit of time to himself. We just had a question through from Russell in Texas asking, with a pride this size, is it more difficult for them to hunt and surprise It's a difficult question to answer, really. Some prides will be more adept hunters than others, whereas some will not be as good. I suppose it depends on the actual pride and the area within which they're hunting and they're inhabiting. I'm just going to manoeuvre quickly because we're getting some nice behaviour. We're not getting a good view for you, so just bear with me and I'll finish answering your question as we're moving. I suppose one of the other questions is not how difficult it is for them to hunt, but maybe how frequent they have to hunt as well. I mean, the pride this size, it has a lot of mouths to feed. So the amount of times that they will have to hunt and take down prey just to keep all these bellies full will play a large role into how successful they are as well. I mean, a sub-adult buffalo will probably won't last these guys too long, maybe a couple of days, if that, just judging by the size of the pride. So it's a difficult question to answer, really. So, like I said, it just depends.